Namaste, namaste, and welcome to this short yoga practice, gentle practice for the throat chakra. Today, for your practice, you might need a bolster or a rolled up blanket, a belt, or a strap of some kind, perhaps a tea towel or a scarf, and one block or sturdy book. Now, these two I'm going to pop to one side for a bit later on. We're going to start with the bolster or rolled up blanket, if that's what you've got. If you're using a bolster and it's one filled with buckwheat, shake it down so that you end up with a fuller section towards the end of your mat. And if you need a bit more support, you can actually always put a block underneath there as well, that head end. We're going to sit in front of our bolsters and relax down over. So sitting with your low back as close to the bolster as feels comfortable. So I prefer my low back to be supported, so with the bolster directly underneath, touching the back of my pelvis and the back of the buttocks as well. But if you don't enjoy such a supported or open feeling in the low back, you can move your hips slightly further away, and it gives you a little softer bend there and a little space between you and the bolster. Release your arms out to the sides. If this is not comfortable for your neck, then placing a block or a book underneath the head end of the bolster to support yourself a little bit higher up. And it's nicer to put it underneath the bolster than on top, because it provides a little bit of extra softness. And start with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Just taking note of how you feel in this moment, in this posture. Whilst we're working with the throat chakra today, it might be that you have discomfort or tension in other parts of the body. So give your body a moment to soften, perhaps across the shoulders, the pelvis, the belly muscles, nice and soft here as well. And then if you're very comfortable here, you can extend your legs to be a little bit longer. And if that doesn't feel as comfortable, or if you get any increasing senses of discomfort, then bringing the feet back in and leaving the feet on the floor and the knees bent. Allowing the shoulders to fall towards the mat, the backs of the arms and hands very much supported here. And taking a few moments to find your sweet spot and breathe into it, softening the body as you go. The throat chakra is in the neck, where the neck joins the torso. So it's sort of at the bottom of the neck, at the very, very top of the torso. There's a little hollow here in the front of our throats, and some people find that that's where their throat chakra resides, but in that general area. So in this posture, the space that we've got here at the front of the body is more open than it perhaps normally is, and the head is able to be supported here so that the muscles supporting the neck and the tops of the shoulders can really relax. And the other advantage of this supported fish pose is that we are opening our chests in a way that combats our usual postural tension, which is generally a little bit slouchy, a little bit forward folding, a little bit closing of the space across the chest. See if you can soften your face, shoulders and jaw just a little further. Breathing deeply. With every exhalation, the body getting a little heavier, a little more soft, a little more relaxed. The mantra for the throat chakra is often written H-A-M, ham, but is pronounced home. So in your mind, you can repeat that mantra, home, home. For those of you who are very comfortable, you might want to say it out loud. Home, home, home. And then just taking a few moments to relax and let the effort go from the face and the voice box. When you feel you're ready to move, if your legs are extended, just turning the toes to point upwards, sliding the feet in one at a time. And then with a little bit of effort across the belly muscles, just for support, rolling to one side. We want to gracefully dismount if we are able to, sliding ourselves to the floor, and then roll the bolster out of the way so that you can, or blanket of course, so that you can roll back onto your back. Allow your body to find that more neutral shape against the floor, and notice how you feel, particularly across this area of the neck. The chakra goes from the back to the front, so you feel that energy all around the neck. Notice how spacious the neck feels, because it's never against the floor, even when you're lying down flat. So notice how the shape of the back of the neck feels with that space underneath it and around the sides and at the front as well. Take another deep breath in and out here. And then maybe rolling your head gently from side to side. Leave your head on the floor as you roll from one side to the other, so that you're not using any supporting muscular effort. It's just a little releasing. The head is quite heavy on the end of the neck, and so it's not unusual to feel a little strain or tension across the tops of the shoulders, particularly in the back of the body. And this helps to release some of it. When you're ready, you can either bring your knees into your chest and do a little bit of rocking and rolling, or if you're happy, you can just roll to one side to come up to sitting. I'm going to roll backwards and forwards through the length of the spine, which is a really nice way to massage out the back of the body, and eventually coming up to sitting. So I hope that you're feeling a little bit more open across the chest now. It's a really nice way to start the practice, and yin yoga is best done with cold muscles. So it's good at the start of a practice before you get everything warmed up. So here we're going to sit in any comfortable position. So if you're happy sitting on a chair, sit on a chair. If you prefer to kneel, if you prefer to lift yourself up a little, do whatever you need to feel that graceful length through your body and firm support with whatever's on the floor. Take a moment here. See if you can feel length down the sides of the neck and the front of the throat. Notice if you tend to have your chin pointing slightly forward, it's good to bring your chin forward to feel how that feels in the back of the body. You can feel the gripping that needs to happen, and then draw your head back to center. When your head is centered over the rest of your body, it's much lighter to hold. Try again, dropping the chin a little bit forward. Notice how that feels in the back of the body. Draw the head back to center. Feel the release, the relief of those muscles as we hold our heads in the right position. So keeping that sensation of lift, let's work a little bit with some neck movements. Here in the center, you can breathe in. As you breathe out, turn to look over your right shoulder, chin parallel to the floor. Breathe in back to the center, nice length down the sides of the neck. And breathing out to the left shoulder. Breathe in back to the center. Breathing out, turning to the right. Breathe into the center. Breathing out, turning to the left. Breathe in back to the center and just check that your head is centered and the chin a little retracted. And then breathe out, right ear to right shoulder, a little side bend here. Breathe in back to the center, neutral spine. Breathing out, left ear to left shoulder. Very good. Breathing in back to the center. Breathing out over to the right. Breathing in back to the center. Breathing out over to the left. Breathing in, coming back to the center, and as you breathe out, draw your chin towards your chest. And here, just holding just a touch longer in this position. We don't want to force the chin down. It's just allowing the head to surrender to gravity. So there's no effort here in this posture. And then smiling gently to yourself, rolling your head back to center. You're going to take your bottom teeth over your top teeth. And then roll your chin up to the ceiling. Hold for a moment here. And then rolling back to the center, relax the mouth into a more relaxed position. Check your chin is retracted. Roll all the way down. Holding here as you breathe, just feel a softening across the shoulders, maybe a length down the back of the neck between the shoulder blades. And when you're ready, smiling, coming back to the center, bottom teeth over top teeth, rolling the chin up. And here, noticing the feeling at the front of the throat, the muscles that come down the sides of the neck that connect into the top of the chest, maybe around the collarbones. And return to center, relax your mouth. One more time down. A nice big smile, and then coming back to neutral and just resting here. So when we work with our throat chakra, we work not only with the neck, but also with the top of the shoulders and the very top of the chest. So you'll maybe feel our practice in those places as well. So let your shoulders roll a little, find a little releasing of any tension you may have been holding, a little backwards and forwards. And then we're going to do some neck rolling. And this isn't for everybody. It doesn't suit everybody. So if there's anything in these practices today that you feel is just a little bit awkward or uncomfortable, then rest out and join in on our next practice. Likewise, if your neck gets sore, you can rest out and join in with something that you think you might enjoy. So sitting tall, chin in that retracted position, gently drawing chin towards the chest. And then rolling the right ear to the right shoulder and chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder and chin to chest. Going side to side, noticing the movements in your body, the muscles and ligaments and tendons, structures that are supporting the movement as you go from side to side. We're not trying to stretch here. We're just moving through your range of movement. So there's no forcing or pressing or even not really any lengthening. It's just a wriggle through the range. Now you might enjoy side to side and want to stick there. If you enjoy rolling in circles, just make your circle ever so slightly smaller than your semicircle so that you don't take the head too far back. Or continue semicircling if you prefer. Do at least 2 in the first direction and then change direction. So going nice and steady and slow, noticing what moves, what works, the sensations you get as the result of your movement. When you're ready, you can bring your chin back to your chest. Take a moment here and then return the head to center and relax for a moment. If you've had your legs crossed and you want to do a little bit of balancing here, you can extend your legs and just wave the feet from side to side or make the ankles go in circles. to release, and then you can cross your legs the opposite way. And that's nice for balance. So here in our opposite leg cross, we're going to do a little bit of action for our shoulders, because we're particularly concerned about that movement across the very top of the shoulders, collarbones and upwards, if you like. So bring your fingertips to your shoulders. We're going to make the elbows go in big circles forward, like you were doing the front crawl. So your chin a little bit down towards your chest, maybe just slightly forward folding in the upper body. And you can go a little bit more quickly if you want to. I'm going to take it steady. And while you're doing this, think about firming the belly muscles just to provide a little support. I'm going to do 2 more in this direction, 1 and 2, and then try the opposite way. So like you're doing the back crawl now, but lifting your chin a little, still lifting in the belly muscles, getting a little bit of twisting, turning action across the chest and the whole of the torso, but you know what I mean. We're feeling it mostly across our chest here. Very good. We're going to go back in the first direction, so back forwards, a little forward folding of the chin towards the chest, not much, just a touch. Still firm in the belly muscles, still working those shoulders or the elbows in circles, like front crawl. And then reversing the opposite way, lifting the chin. Maybe a little sway here. Oh, that feels so good. Excellent stuff. And we'll do 2 more in this direction. And then gently finishing with the arms resting to the sides and the hands down away from the shoulders. Give yourself a moment here. If you feel like you need to, really nice release for the neck is to make figure of 8 circles with figure of eights with the nose. So just a gentle movement up and down. And when you're ready, you can reverse that movement to go the opposite way. And that helps just to bring the movements of the head back to back towards the center. And the head as well. Yeah, why not? Okay, so if you're comfortable sitting, you can continue to sit. I like to change my position every once in a while because it helps my legs to feel more comfy. So I'm going to come into kneeling and I'm going to use my bolster to do that. You could equally use a block or a cushion or a book of some kind. So, a little kneeling on the bolster, and I'm going to grab my belt so it's ready, but I'm not going to use it quite immediately. So whatever your centered position is, it could be standing if you like for this one, no problem at all, for any of them if you like. We're going to soften the right elbow and then just make a few big circles with that right side of the body. And similar to our front and back crawl, elbow circles. But here we're trying to get a little bit more of that connection between the movements of the head and the movements of the shoulders. A little firm in the belly. And when you're ready, you can go the opposite way as well. Very nice. Super. Allow your head to move as you move, your body to respond. So it becomes very much a movement of the whole torso, the head, the arms, the neck as well. I'll do 1 more in this direction. And rest this arm to the side. Take a moment in the center, feel the difference between the 2 sides, and then soften the left elbow and the same thing on the left side. So beginning with, you can start with small circles if you want to, but whenever you're ready, allowing the torso and the head, and particularly the shoulders and the neck, to move as part of this movement, to respond. Notice where your muscles switch on, where you have support, where you have openness, where you have room. 1 more in this direction. And then reversing to go in the opposite direction. You can, of course, start small if you want to. Whenever you're ready, you can allow the rest of the body to respond, firm in the center. Really good. Just making sure that your head moves as well, if that's comfortable. If you get dizzy doing this, then that's a whole different ballgame. Just keeping the eyes on something that is centered. One more in this direction. And releasing the left arm down. Awesome stuff. So we're going to do a little Gomukh Asana, cow's face posed arms. So for this, we're going to do it two different ways, in fact. So the first way, we're going to take the right hand and slide the back of the hand up between the shoulder blades. And we don't want to force this one. So if you find that you're straining or you're reaching or you get some discomfort across your shoulder, just rest a little further out of the posture. Slide your hand a little further down, take your elbow a little wider if that feels comfortable. But if you're able to get the upper arm close to the torso, then that's great. And then with the left hand, we're going to make those big circles. I'm going to make two. And on the third one, we're going to reach the left arm up and then bring the elbow back, bend the arm at the elbow and see if the fingertips reach together or perhaps the hands reach together. I can touch on this side, no problem, but we're going to do a different variation. So it's okay to reach, but we're going to take the hand and hold the back of the head instead. So back of the head held in the left hand. We're going to press the head back and the left hand forward at the same time. So we get a little bit of traction there. And then here, moving the elbows slightly back behind the body if possible, and breathing deeply. If you want to, you can say the mantra Haum here. Haum. Haum. Maybe one more time. Haum. And then we'll release, reaching the left hand up and then down to the side, softening that shoulder as we go, sliding the back of the right hand down the body and turning the palm forward as it comes around the hip, resting the hands. Take a moment to feel the effect, feel the openness, feel the energy moving, feel the difference between the two sides of the body. And then we'll work to the other side. So sliding the back of the left hand as high up between the shoulder blades as is comfortable. On this side, my shoulder just doesn't do this, old injury. So I'm not going to strain or force. And then with the right hand, making those big circles, right arm circles once, twice. And on the third time we reach up, take the elbow back and then bend at the elbow to bring the fingertips together. And if they reach, that's great, but it doesn't matter because we're all going to hold the back of the head instead. Press the back of the head into the hand, press the hand forward, back of the head backwards, hand forwards. And that helps to, well, it's just good for the muscles that support the neck. Then we're going to draw the shoulder blades towards each other, not overly arching, so still anchored here in the belly muscles, not overly arching the spine, but just having that sense of slight opening across the chest. And we can do 3 haums. Haum, completely optional. Haum. Haum. Very good. And then releasing the right hand up and down to the side, sliding the left hand down the back and around to face the front, rest the arms down by the side. Oh, that feels good. Now, you can do this with the belt as well and hold the hands more towards each other. We're going to do a slightly different thing with the belt. I've changed my mind halfway through teaching, which is not unusual. Okay, so this time we're going to take the fingers together, interlace the fingers, press the back of the hands away, gently draw your chin towards your chest. Maybe there's a rounding of the spine here. Really creating that sense of drawing the shoulders forward, that length. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then we're going to sit tall and press the palms the other way. Now, if you don't enjoy this, this is where you can use your belt. So pressing the palms the other way, we're going to inhale the arms up, shoulders lifting, and then exhale the shoulders down. Same thing again. Inhale the shoulders up, feeling that lift. Exhale, shoulder blades down. That's all. One more time, lifting and exhaling down. Very good. And then separating the hands, or separating the hands from the belt and floating the arms down to the sides. Very good. So now with the belt behind us, I might shift sideways. So you've got options. You can do this interlaced as well. I'll show you that in a moment. Take the belt behind you with the palms turned upwards and the thumbs wrapped over the top of the belt, and then roll the shoulder blades together. The hands quite close together on the belt, and you can lengthen the arms. Here we can simply do a little reaching down and coming back to center, reaching down and coming back to center. And then we're going to slide the left hand towards the right hip behind us, and the right hand will come in front towards the front of the hip. So you've anchored your left arm right against your torso. There's a little openness across the front of the shoulder. Now, if you want to do this with the hands interlaced, you simply interlace the fingers behind the body, roll the shoulder blades towards each other, and then slide that left hand towards the right hip and tuck the right elbow in. So it has the same sort of effect, but it's just a little bit more challenging if you're not used to working with your hands interlaced, or if you've got arthritis or something like this. So in this position, either with the belt or with the hands interlaced, we're going to sit tall, and then we're looking away from the left shoulder. So we're turning the head to the right, just holding for a moment, feeling that extra space, and then coming back to the center. Check your chin is retracted. Then take your right ear to your right shoulder. Again, holding there, feeling that extra space, making sure it's not a strain, but it might feel like a little bit of extra length. And then coming back to the center. Retract your chin, and then draw your chin towards your chest and roll your right ear towards your right shoulder. Maybe the chin lifts a touch, and then chin back to chest. Nice quarter circle now. Rolling the right ear to the right shoulder. Maybe lifting ever so slightly, feel it all down that side of the neck underneath the ear, and rolling back to the center. Last time. Rolling right ear to right shoulder, maybe looking up, maybe taking a breath in and out here. And then very gently coming back to the center, drawing the head back to the center neutrally, releasing the arms either from the belt or from each other, and letting the arms float forward, rolling the wrists a little, wiggling the shoulders as needed, or perhaps just sitting for a moment to experience the releasing of that held, contained energy. Now it can flow. Beautiful. So in between these two sides, let's just take a cleansing breath or two. Breathe in, take the arms out and up. Maybe looking up, breathing out, drawing the hands together towards the center of the chest. One more time, breathing in, out and up. Breathing out, hands together, center of the chest. Very good, releasing the arms, rolling the shoulders. Nicely done. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So you can either hold the belt behind you, lengthen the arms back, just gently reach down and back to center, and then slide the back of the hand to the left hip and pin the left hand forward to increase that sense of openness. Or you can interlace the fingers behind you, roll the shoulder blades together, lengthen the arms, and then draw the back of the right hand across to the left hip. And as you get it anchored there, tuck the left elbow in. Whatever you're doing, check not to arch too much. Keep the belly muscles just a touch engaged here. Retract your chin as you sit tall, and then turn to look away from that right shoulder, over to the left shoulder. And back to the center. Maybe one more time, looking over to the left shoulder. And back to center. And then taking the left ear to the left shoulder. That feels good. And back to center, retracting your chin one more time, left ear to left shoulder. Nice. And back to center. Retracting the chin, drawing the chin towards the chest. And we're going to roll the head towards that left side, left ear to left shoulder, maybe chin slightly lifted. Ooh, delicious. And back to the center. And rolling again, that quarter circle, maybe just lifting under the chin if it feels good down that side of the neck. Back to the center. This time, if you want to, you can hold that position. Just taking a deep breath in and out. And then when you're ready, gently releasing chin back to the chest, returning your head to the center and releasing the arms, releasing the hands from the belt if they've been on the belt. Give your hands a little bit of a wrist wiggle or a finger wiggle or a shake out or a wriggle through the arms, whatever feels good. Very good. Okay, so what we do with our neck and shoulders is how we affect our throat chakra, but also with sound and the way we sound our voice. We can do the mantra Om here. So taking any comfortable seat, releasing the hands onto the thighs. And we're going to start, if you've never practiced Om before, there is a tutorial video on that. But if you're familiar from class, taking a deep breath in. Let's do 2 more like that. If you prefer to listen, that's okay. And then do 3 quietly. Close your eyes if you like. Then whisper 3 Oms. Then say 3 silently in your mind. Taking a moment to sit at the end of this practice with the eyes gently closed or gazing downward. Notice the effect of your practice. Find softness across your face, chest. Find softness across your shoulders. When you're ready, you can bring the palms together at the center of the chest. Take your chin towards your chest. Smile gently to yourself. And in your own time, raise your head and open your eyes. Releasing your hands down. Now, it feels like that's a good place to finish the practice, but I would really like to do legs up the wall as well. So shoulder stand is really one of the main postures that is really good for the throat chakra. But in a quiet, gentle practice, a full shoulder stand can sometimes be a little bit demanding. So instead, today, we're going to practice the legs up the wall variation. And you can use your belt or a bolster for this, not your belt, a block or a bolster for this. I'm going to just put this on as I'm cooling down a little bit. And again, you might want something else warm on right now, or possibly a blanket close by. So I'm going to move my block and bolster so that they're easily within reach. I'm going to come as close to the wall as I can get. I might even have to move my shoulder a little bit out of the way. And I'm towards the one edge of my yoga mat, so I've got the rest of the mat behind me. To get up the wall, just sliding your arm down so you can roll onto the back of the body and the legs come up the wall. Now here, the closer your buttocks are to the wall, the longer and straighter your legs have to be. So if you need to soften your knees, you don't want to strain the back of the body. We haven't really warmed up the back of the body in any particular way. So you might need your knees to be soft, or you might need your buttocks a little bit further away from the wall to create a little bit more openness. But if you are comfortable with the legs straightened and buttocks close to the wall, that's great. And this might be enough for you today. Turning the palms open, resting the arms away from the body ever so slightly to soften the shoulders. Feel the backs of the shoulders really heavy into the mat to open the space across the throat chakra and the top of the chest. And noticing here that the back of the neck, the space between the back of the neck and the floor, the space around the sides of the neck and the front of the body as well. There's perhaps a slight closing of the space at the front of the body, but there's still the element of space available here in the front of the throat. And here the toes are nice and relaxed, so you can give them a little wiggle. Make sure your feet are nice and relaxed, so you're not holding or gripping anywhere. The back of the pelvis is really heavy. The back of the body in general surrendering down, particularly the back of the head. Take a few deep breaths. Maybe soften the eyes or close the eyes. Soften across the jaw, the tongue. And you might feel that this is enough for your practice today, but if you do wish to do a little more, you can take that block that you have handy or book, place your feet on the wall, and as if you were doing a bridge pose, press into the feet to lift the hips up. And you can slide your block underneath the back of the pelvis, so not into the softer bits of above the low back, but the back of the pelvis, maybe just a touch of the back of the buttocks, and then lengthen your legs up the wall again. And this changes the weight of the body and puts more of the gravity energy into the space towards the top of the torso. So the backs of the shoulders are more heavy into the mat, the back of the head is more heavy, and you get a different sensation across your throat chakra and your heart chakra here too. So taking a few deep breaths here. For anyone who feels they want to work higher still towards perhaps a more traditional shape for the shoulder stand, you can place your feet onto the wall. You can lift the buttocks and turn the block onto its medium setting. Again, setting the back of your pelvis down onto it, making sure it feels nice and secure, releasing your feet up the wall. And all of this can be done on the bolster as well, which I've just left to my side. I probably won't demonstrate on the bolster as well, but if the bolster is what you've got, or if you'd like to try, it can be a little bit more supportive than just the small block underneath the pelvis. Check that the legs are nice and relaxed. There's that heaviness, and the heaviness now is coming towards the tops of the back of the shoulders, more like a traditional shoulder stand. And there's a little bit more, perhaps, length in the back of the neck here, so a little bit less space between the back of the neck and the floor. Breathe deeply. And if you didn't get yourself up onto a block, don't worry, you still get the benefits of this posture, even with your hips on the floor. So whatever shape you're in, softening as much effort as you can, finding that long breath, checking the mouth and jaw and throat, shoulders all feel soft. If you want to here, you can try a little soft Ujjayi breath. But not too forceful, not too loud. If at any stage you feel like it's time for you to come down, you absolutely can. And if you're up on a higher setting of the block, then it's a good idea to bring the feet to the wall, just lift the hips to come down one turn of the block to the low setting. If you're on your bolster, don't worry about coming down just yet. You can spend a few more breaths. We'll take 3 more deep breaths here. Notice how differently it feels in this slightly softer shape. If you're up on any support at all, taking the feet to the wall, pressing into the feet to lift the hips, move your support out from underneath the body. Let your hips sink down towards the mat or to the mat. And then lengthening your legs again, taking a few more deep breaths. If you wish to here, and particularly if you've been with your hips on the floor all of the time, you can try widening the feet to find a place that feels good for your legs. It doesn't need to be super wide apart, but sometimes that can be really nice. And the sacral chakra and the throat, sacral chakra around the hips and navel area, and the throat have a really strong energetic connection of creativity. Creativity in the sacral chakra and expressive creation, creative expression in the throat chakra. So by doing this variation, then you get a little connection between the 2 chakras as well, with the physical sense. When you're ready, you can help your legs back towards each other. And then just preparing to dismount. We're always looking for a slightly graceful dismount. So bending the knees in towards the chest, you can hug them towards you, make any sort of movements that feel good with the spine, maybe a little rock and roll, anything that feels good to release the legs. And then I'm just going to push myself away from the wall ever so slightly, but you can just roll to one side if you prefer. Take your time on your side. Take a moment there. And then when you're ready, come into any comfortable seated position. And so we bring to a close our throat chakra practice, perhaps with 3 more Oms. Sitting tall, take a deep breath in. Om. 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 If you've got your eyes closed, you can gently keep them closed. Take a moment to feel the effect of your whole practice. When you're ready, you can bring your hands to the center of your chest, lifting the chest and taking the chin down just a touch. Smile to yourself. Releasing your head up as you open your eyes. Thank you for joining me in this practice. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you again for another one. Namaste.